Has a snake ever really attacked someone on a plane? What's the best zombie survival hack? And what's the record for the longest fall in an elevator? We asked you guys, would you rather try surviving a load of venomous snakes on a plane or crocodile-infested waters during a flood? And the overwhelming majority, 74%, voted for the venomous snakes on a plane. I'm not sure if Sam Jackson persuaded you guys, but I would have to agree. I prefer the snakes. And it with these snakes on this line. Is it likely to happen? No, but never say never. A pilot in South Africa had to make an emergency landing when he discovered a Cape Cobra in his cockpit. Honey. The Cape Cobra is one of the deadliest and most venomous snakes in South Africa. One bite can lead to paralysis and cause issues with your breathing, nervous system, and heart. If untreated, the bite will certainly kill you. Usually a ventilator will treat most cases, but in more severe situations, antivenom is required. Another flight saw a man sneak an Egyptian cobra on board. The cobra then escaped, causing an emergency landing. Good thing, too, because one bite from this cobra could kill you in 15 minutes. But these are just individual snakes on a plane. If a full bunch of them got loose, it's important to remember that some of the snakes would likely attack each other, as they could be territorial. But that can make them even more aggressive, too. If you're bitten by one, depending on whether it released venom and how much got into your system, you may have time to make an emergency landing and get antivenom. Now let's talk crocs during a flood. I mean, they're aggressive, territorial, and massive. They can swim up to 22 miles per hour and have rows of razor-sharp teeth. They're also nocturnal, so at night, in the water, when you're cold and can't see anything, they'd be slowly planning their attack. It's important to keep in mind crocs can reach lengths of more than 20 feet and weigh more than 3,000 pounds. So if you think you'll be able to fight back, good luck. Maybe you could take one, but dozens? I don't think so. Now, the good news is this is pretty unlikely, but I'm not saying it couldn't happen. Like if the flood were to hit a crocodile sanctuary and you happen to be in the water, well, let's just hope you're a strong swimmer. Especially because crocs love to drown their prey first, doing their signature death roll. Yikes. And if you happen to live in Florida during this flood, gators would also give you a little chance of survival. Your best bet for either animal is to stay calm, be quiet, and keep your distance. Swim to some floating debris if you can, preferably underwater, to reduce any splashing. All right, guys, if you think this one's bad, you're in for a treat. Would you rather try to survive a mall full of zombies or a supermax prison full of criminals? Ugh, that's a tough call. Well, the majority of you thinks a mall full of zombies is the safer bet. Of course, this is very situational. It depends on how fast the zombies move. Are they able to climb things? How big is the mall? And most importantly, are there any sales happening? Well, for this scenario, we're talking the slow but steady walking dead kind of zombies. And let's say we're in a typical sized mall. If you're in the United States, some malls would have stores selling weapons, and that would certainly help you. Your best bet is to find a safe zone. Luckily, malls have lots of food and beverages to keep you going for a while, so stock up. You'll want to barricade any entrance points and keep some weapons close at hand, preferably melee-style weapons like a bat, a knife, or a golf club, whatever you can muster. You need these two weapons right here. Guns should be an emergency backup. A gunshot could alert the entire board and have them swarming around you in seconds. Not good. If you're able to make it outside, your best bet is to cover yourself in stinky zombie guts and do your best zombie impression. Or you could do the Michael Jackson zombie and just give him a little half. Find a vehicle if you can and get the heck out of there. Unfortunately, if you are bitten, you're likely going to die. But you come back to life as someone dead. What are you doing? Slow-ass walking dead zombies, or sprinting zombies from Dawn of the Dead, or super fast steroided out zombies from World War Z. You better hope you're immune to them or have Brad Pitt's luck. was a bestie of yours, that could still mess you up pretty badly. What do you do? Just take off your best friend's head? I mean, I know some days not wanting, but that's besides the point. That could still mess you up pretty bad, but maybe not as badly as a supermax prison full of criminals. You do not want to find yourself in this kind of jail. If these criminals are in the most secure prisons in the world, well, you know they've done some ungodly things. Prison rules are different from the real world. Who knows if you'd be walking around freely and not caught in that hour out of your cell? Inmates can make weapons out of plenty of unsuspecting things, and 23 hours in your cell every day gives you a lot of time to hone your craft. A prison will have a lot of locked doors, especially a maximum security prison. You probably need like key cards to move around. Your best bet for this scenario would be to lay low, make some allies, and keep your mind and body occupied to stay sharp. Okay, let's turn things up a notch and get nuclear. Would you rather attempt to survive the World War II bombing of Hiroshima or the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear power plant meltdown? Yikes, this is a tough one. Two real-life tragedies with many innocent people losing their lives. Looking at just the numbers, Hiroshima killed an estimated 140,000 people. In reality, it's quite possible the number is much higher. Chernobyl, on the other hand, was responsible for the immediate death of 2 plant workers and 28 others from acute radiation syndrome, a nearly impossible illness to survive. On top of the 30 dead, nearly 5,000 victims suffered from thyroid cancer, with 15 of them dying. If you're in the vicinity of an atomic bomb explosion, there are no survival tips. I'm not sure any bunker can save you from this sheer power. Unless you're Wolverine or maybe Indiana Jones. The bomb dropped on Hiroshima was the equivalent of 16,000 tons of TNT. And to no surprise, it wiped out 90% of the city. With today's advances in technology and science, I could only imagine what kind of destruction the world's smartest or most evil people are capable of. Hopefully, we never find out. It would result in mass death across the world. Okay, let's focus on some natural disasters instead. Surely we can survive these, right? Would you rather try to survive a massive tsunami or a volcano eruption? Both would be devastating. But is a tsunami actually more survivable than a volcano? Let's find out. With over 1,500 active volcanoes worldwide, 50 to 70 of them blowing yearly, this situation is quite possible. Some volcanoes are much more dangerous than others. The explosive ones are scarier, and of course, that's what a handful of you chose to try to survive. If you're close to the volcano, being splashed by lava would fry you instantly. But even if you're far away, you still need to watch out for ash and flaming rocks. Ash will significantly decrease your visibility and disrupt your breathing. And those flaming rocks? Well, volcanoes also emit gases that can be deadly, including carbon dioxide and hydrogen fluoride. So you can either suffocate or be poisoned to death. Another painful death is drowning. Tsunamis are scary, reaching speeds of nearly 500 miles per hour and traveling thousands of miles. They are pure destruction. And it's not just one big wave hitting the shore. There can be multiple high waves, also known as crests, coming as fast as every 5 minutes. To no surprise, drowning is the #1 cause of death. But the strong currents can also kill you, especially if the current is carrying a wall of dangerous debris your way. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami was the deadliest in history, claiming the lives of more than 230,000 people across 14 countries. Triggered by a major earthquake, its waves reached as high as 100 feet. If you find yourself caught in the waters of a tsunami, you'll want to grab hold of anything that can help you float. Ideally, you evacuate before it hits, but they move quickly and arrive without much warning. It is. But is that the right call? Elevators claim 27 lives per year on average and injure more than 10,000. Most elevator deaths happen in mine shafts, but if we're specifically talking about a typical office elevator, what are your chances of survival? I'm sure you all thought about jumping right before it hits the ground to reduce the impact, but Timing that requires precision, and while it may reduce your speed slightly, it's not enough to save you guys. You also risk hitting your head on the ceiling, and falling at more than 50 miles per hour, no matter where you are, could leave you seriously injured. Squatting or standing with your knees bent is also a bad idea. You'll absorb a lot of the impact, potentially breaking your legs. Also, being parallel to the ground could affect your spine upon impact. Laying on the ground is your safest option. Yes, you can still hit your head, but you'd be absorbing the impact with your bum and back mostly. This could still certainly kill you, but it's your best bet for survival. But it's not impossible to survive. Betty Lou Oliver holds the Guinness World Record for the longest fall survived in an elevator. She fell more than 1,000 feet in 1945 when a plane crashed into the Empire State Building. Now, lucky for her, the elevator cable, which disconnected, coiled at the bottom and acted as a cushion. That may have been what saved her life. But not many people have survived falling out of a plane without a parachute. Believe it or not, it has happened. Again, the survivability here depends on how high you fall from. Julianne Koepka fell from 10,000 feet in the air while still in her seat in 1971 when a thunderstorm ripped the plane she was in half. Landing in the Amazon rainforest, she suffered a broken collarbone, a sprained knee, and gashes around her body. Some argue that being in her seat, which was attached to a row of two other seats, acted as a parachute and slowed her fall. Others think it was the updraft from the thunderstorm or the environment of the lush Amazon that cushioned her fall. Now, if you're in a plane cruising at 33,000 feet and you fall out, you'd most likely pass out before you hit the ground. Ice-cold temperatures around minus 54 degrees Fahrenheit and unbreathable air give you about 30 seconds to make a decision before you lose consciousness. With your lifeless body falling at speeds of 125 miles per hour, you'd likely have just a few minutes before you hit the ground or water. So not a whole lot of time to regain consciousness. So you have no parachute and 30 seconds to decide how to survive. Good luck with that. But here are some tips. You'll want to avoid hitting water at all costs because from 33,000 feet in the air, it's like falling straight onto concrete. Instead, you want to try to land in a swamp, in trees, or a snowy hillside. And do your best to land on your feet while protecting your head. Yeah, it'll hurt, but my mom always said broken legs are better than a broken head.